extensive presentation. I think we'll be interested by an update next year, this time, on the subject. So I'm now inviting on stage the last presentation of this session by the NLR on the benefit of safety technologies for the operational safety.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for staying up until the last end. So I hope I can give you a bit more information about what we are doing at the NLR. So just introducing myself, I'm Laurent from the Dutch Aerospace Center. I'm R&D engineer at Rotorcraft. And I will talk to you today about the technologies to improve rotorcraft safety. I'll start with saying that actually I'm quite new to this topic. My background is more in performance simulations of rotorcraft, of all kind of exotic types of rotorcraft. But I have some colleagues and some predecessors that have been active within the European Safety Promotion Network Rotorcraft, so ESPNR. And a big part of their work focused on technologies. So technologies to improve rotorcraft safety. And they kind of gave me the opportunity, maybe a bit as also a new guy, hopefully with some fresh perspective, to look at their work and see, okay, how can we move forward to this, maximizing our impact on safety? And it's been mentioned a few times today, the importance of technology, also by EASA, but also the challenges of implementing these new technologies. For example, by Mr. Muller, he talked about development issues we have, but also challenging into actually getting the technology onto the fleet, onto the aircraft. And so what I will talk to you today is what we do within NLR and also within this ESPNR, still focusing on these technologies, but also we want to engage a little bit more with the operators, because we believe if we involve them a bit more actively, we can really improve our safety. And so today, the reason why I'm presenting here, taking the opportunity to show our plans, what we want to do for next year, and also to kind of engage with the community and ask for your input on the plans that I will show you today. Let's start with shortly introducing who we are. So Royal Netherlands Aerospace Center, basically we want to put ourselves forward as the link between the universities and the industry. So our core business is actually developing technologies for proof of concept. And while we're doing this, we're actually also defining new operations and also new policies or supporting policies to which these new technologies should comply to. And a bit more specifically, the Rotorcraft department, my department, but also of my colleagues that are present here today, just a few pictures of what we do. For example, we support operations Dutch Search and Rescue, for example, also the Dutch Navy into defining their requirements for operations and equipment. But we also involved a bit more earlier into a design process. For example, we have facilities to do scaled flight testing, we have wind tunnels, we have exciting simulators which we can modularly set up. And we also have sorts of performance tools which we can use to calculate performance of new and future rotorcrafts. And we even have a dedicated drone airport to test new drone technologies. And of course, we're also active in rotorcraft safety. Actually, my colleague Joost Vreke from the NLR is one of the ESPNR coordinators, together with colleagues from Airbus, Bernd Oswald, and EASA Michel Masson. And to show you a little bit, to give you a little bit of a feeling about what we did within this ESPNR. This is also way before my time, actually. But we've started with contributing to making a database of accidents and incidents, national accidents and incidents. We also contributed to organizing workshops to promote safety within the ESPNR. These activities are continuous within the EPAS framework. And we are the lead safety technology working group within ESPNR. And so the story that I will tell today actually fits within this safety technology working group of the ESPNR. So let's talk about what we've done before. And before, so my colleagues, they mainly focus on this link. So the link between the common safety issues which are actually known and finding technologies to prevent them, or maybe the lack of technologies to prevent them. Let's start a bit with looking at these common safety issues, and we know that they are actually well documented. We've seen an update by EASA this morning, and they've done that annually, so there's a lot of information to find there. So I would like to start with the EASA Rotorcraft roadmap. So ambitious goal to improve rotorcraft safety. And what was interesting is that they focus on this light helicopters and small operators. So that's also something which has been mentioned this morning as well. that is a particularly interesting field to kind of focus our safety efforts. And that's also what we will do in this plan. And why? Because it actually represents a big part of the operators, which you can see here. And it's also not the easiest community to communicate with. It's very understandable. What matters to them is their day-to-day business. So to define that a little bit more, what we want to do is to focus on light rotorcraft, for example, R22, R44, H125 kind of types, and to this, for example, GA operations and special operations. And this data is a bit outdated. We had an update this morning, but still relevant. We see that in this area, we still have a need to improve the safety. You can see that they actually accounted for a big part of the accidents happening, and that's still relevant today. And as I mentioned earlier, and this is an old picture, we had the update this morning, we know what the issues are, and we will see the usual suspects. This is from a few years ago. Again, you saw this morning, if you were joining the EASA meeting, you saw that the usual suspects are still relevant. And you see that this is the right plot is more for the general rotorcraft. You see that we see the same issues coming back and back and back. And the information is actually available. So we have, even for the operations we're considering here, some more general aviation and more special ops, we have a detailed list about the safety issues. So that's quite nice. So that's known. And so previously, NLR focused on, okay, what kind of technologies can we come up with, or what are the most important things to focus on to prevent these issues? And I want to briefly highlight our previous studies. These are 2 studies by the NLR, presented in 2014 and 2018, and a more recent study in 2020 by the International Helicopter Safety Foundation. And they present a short list of technologies saying, okay, we should really focus on this to have the highest impact on safety for rotorcraft. And this also linked with this net safety benefit, which is stated by the EASA Rotorcraft roadmap, about finding a way to identify these new technologies so that they can be retrofitted and forward-fitted on the aircraft, on the fleet. And so that's exactly what my colleagues did previously, before my time. We have, as I mentioned, the known safety issues. They kind of made a list about the available technologies, but also the emerging technologies. And they developed some kind of rating system per technology and linked them to all the safety issues. And then you come up with, okay, this is a list of technologies, we should focus on this. And there are also some issues which are not addressed by technologies. So we know that maybe we need to focus more technology development in these areas. And this has been really technology focused. So this has been done before. And we can present this to the operators, and they're able to understand this. So they're able to make the link between the safety issues and the technologies. However, what we might think we need to improve a bit more is for them to go into action, to actually implement these safety technologies. And we believe that in order to do that, there's one element that's missing in this picture, and that's actually the link between their actual operations. So what we want to do, next word onwards, actually we want to put this picture forward and add these operational scenarios. And what I mean with operational scenarios, what we want to do is create a list with scenarios in a way that the operators can easily identify to the scenarios, so they have this complete picture. So they can go to look at their day-to-day business, look up, okay, that's really resembling the list of operations, this one scenario that is available there. So I should really consider this common safety issues and therefore implement this safety technology. So we believe that this is, or we hope, that this is a way to create a bit more incentive for the operators to implement certain safety technologies by creating this entire picture. So how do we do this? That means, so the common safety issues are known, we know what kind of safety technologies are available, but this left thing is missing, and the only person who has this information are actually operators. So we need to engage with them, and we would like to get this information from them by launching a survey with them, and this is just a bit of a draft example from what kind of information we need from them, starting with the definition of what they're actually doing, and we want to be quite precise in this, so that will help us to more realistically give an image about the actual operational scenarios that they are performing. We want to have the information about their fleet, and we also want a bit more information about what they see as their own safety issues and safety concerns, and how they feel their link is between their operations, their safety issues, and their technologies. And we'll ask this about their current operations, but we'll try also, and hopefully this works, to ask them about future operations. So what kind of business changes are you expecting? What kind of external factors are you experiencing? And how might that affect your operations? And do you see any more safety concerns coming in? So once we have the results of this survey, then this will be used to define these operational scenarios. And then hopefully we can define them in that way that the operators can really easily relate to them and therefore see the link with safety issues and technologies that they might be useful for them to improve safety. And hopefully we can also say something about the future. And it actually also can work the other way around. So some of the safety technologies, they have a clear link with the common safety issues, however, might not be suitable for some of the operational scenarios that they do. Just to give you a bit of an example, if you are flying VFR and you come into inadvertent IMC, a solution can be to implement some kind of artificial horizon. We have these fancy screens. However, some of this equipment is more meant for IFR pilots. And that might not relate or be beneficial in VFR type of operations, even create more risk. So that's something we can also do, look at it backwards. Do we really have safety technologies that are suitable for the mission? Our ultimate goal, just to put it a bit more in perspective in what kind of safety actions you can take. So we're not looking at reactive actions, but what we are doing is we are putting a survey there, asking the operators to make some kind of risk assessment. So we can take that information and define these operational scenarios. And hopefully operators can then relate to this and then think, okay, I really need to implement this technology proactively. That's something we want to do. And hopefully we can say also something about future risks. So we're also a bit looking at these predictive safety measures that can be implemented. And if there is no technology available, maybe we can also say something about where to focus on the development side. So that's a bit a vague story. So how can we put that into a bit more body, a bit more concrete? I will try to give a bit of a random example. For example, imagine we could put something up there to the operators like this. So let's start with the operations. So for example, you're an operator, you do agricultural aerial work with a single piston aircraft, and we have some equipment, mission-specific equipment on board. And the fleet, you have 4 of these helicopters in your fleet, and you're not only doing this kind of operations, you're also doing, for example, flight training, and you're also doing aerial photography. So this is just an example as how I would define this kind of operational scenarios. But the level of detail is really depending on what kind of input we get from the operator. So this is just an example. So next to the definition of the operational scenario, you will get some common safety issues that you should consider. For example, obstacle avoidance. For example, if you fly different kind of missions with the same rotorcraft, that means different operational rules apply. Also, you have different specific equipment. So that's also something you should consider and might cause a risk. And for example, safety, situational awareness. And then next to that, you get the suggested technologies for these specific operations. For example, a wire strike protection system, an app or software for flight briefing, debriefing, and some data of the terrain and obstacles. Just a random example. But next to this, we want to put some kind of indication so that an operator can feel, okay, my system, my fleet is suitable for these missions, but then on a safety level. So these are these color codes to give them just a bit of an idea of how safe they are based on their equipment on board. And of course, there's many more aspects, flight training, preparations, everything, but now we're focusing on technology. And so we hope with putting forward this picture that operators can see and connect their operations, really relate to it, and feel more incentive to implement certain safety technologies specifically for their operations. So that's about the project goals. So one thing that comes out is focusing on the operators, for them to create incentive to implement these technologies. But on the other hand, this information coming from a survey might also be interesting for policymakers and businesses developing this technology, because we hope that by surveying the operators, we can create a clear link between what's happening in real life, let's say, and the technologies that are needed. So for a policy perspective, that's interesting. So if we want to focus our resources on this one technology, we can really see what kind of impact it has on the real world, let's say. And hopefully we can also get a bit more information about the future operations and see what kind of technologies we are really missing in here. And how we envision it, we actually want to try to make some kind of digital platform where this picture will be shown, and so operators can look and hopefully identify themselves based on the scenarios. And I mean, we also have some workshops that we can organize to really engage with the operators. I want to make one more link. It's also been mentioned this morning by EASA. There's been some effort also, as mentioned in the safety roadmap, to create some kind of a rating system similar to cars. So on top of your certification requirements, you have some kind of safety rating showing how safe the operations might be. I'm not saying that what we present here is the same, but maybe this can create some input and maybe some information to see what kind of technologies are needed for the operation. So maybe this link with this vast group that are actually working on this, maybe we have to talk to them to see how the information that we got from the operators can maybe fill in and help to develop this kind of system. So how to move forward? Today we are here to engage with the operators, because first thing we have to do is set up this survey. And to do that effectively, we want to engage with the operator, ask them, okay, how should we ask the questions, and really explain them, okay, these are the benefits for us, these are the benefits for you. So hopefully we'll come around and ask you how we'll set up this survey, and hopefully I will be here to present the results next year. Thank you.